Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Everybody's Got a Podcast. I am your host, T Dot, and this week I'm trying a little something new. I'm breaking away from the norm, trying to add a little life to this podcast and let you guys get a feel for who I am. So let's just do a little recap of this week. I'm gonna start with the ongoing feud with Colin Kaepernick and the NFL. Most recently, a police officer has joined his cause in protesting Colin Kaepernick not getting a job when a bunch of low-level quarterbacks are. And I think that's good. You know, you got Colin Kaepernick, you know, he's protesting. You got the police officer. Then you have a fellow NFL star, or I think a few at this point, protesting. And it's all for nonviolent stuff, you know. And everybody makes a good point that, hey, you guys are blackballing him when he didn't do anything wrong but do a silent protest, where there's a number of NFL players that fucking do all kind of shit that is unacceptable in society, like rape, murder, and all that stuff, beating their wife. So I think it's a good thing. Hope to see something come out of it. If not, supposedly NFL been losing money because of the boycott that's been going on. People has been saying they haven't or they won't be watching any NFL until he gets, and I'd love to see how that play out. And the other thing that happened this week was the Powerball, one of the biggest Powerballs of, I guess, this year. I don't know. I really don't follow that. Everybody was talking about it. I'm like, lottery's a lottery. The lottery, I think, was about 758 million. And I always think to myself, like, there's a shit ton of stuff you can do with that money other than give it to one person and take taxes out of it. And what are y'all doing with those taxes? It's just going to the IRS, and what are they going to do with the taxes? It's like you could help some homeless people. You can spread that, give some people higher salaries or bonuses or whatever. It's a bunch of stuff you could do with that money. You could put it into schools to get a better education, because the U.S. has one of the shittiest educations. I think we like number 20 in education. As far as globally, we're listed as number 20 or 24, something like that. It's something ridiculous. We should be, if not in the top 10. So yeah, that was one of the big things this week. Another thing, they had the new Galaxy Note 8 that's going to be released, and it's starting at $600. And I can't see why you would spend that kind of money. I don't spend money on phones. If my phone works, I can call, I can text, I can surf the internet. I don't need no phone that's 150 to 160 shit. I mean, excuse me, 650, 600, you know, up to 950. I think this phone. And the only thing that stands out about it is it has dual cameras on the back. And I'm like, that coupled with maybe the fact that you run two apps at once. So, I mean, the most you can do is probably the most benefit you'll get from that is live streaming while you're sending a tweet or something like that. But as far as I'm concerned, ain't no way that shit is worth a fucking $650 for that. And the next thing that happened this week was ESPN switched in light of the Charlottesville, or Charlottesville, however you say it. In light of that event, the ESPN switched to an Asian newscaster because his name was similar to the general's name, which is Robert Lee. The general's name was Robert E. Lee, and the Asian sportscaster was Robert Lee. And I'm like, that's just the dumbest shit you can do. Is like, if society is not that smart to be able to distinguish a sportscaster from a Confederate general, then we got. And the next thing that happened this week was John Jones, dumbass, gives up all of his accolades that he just earned 2 weeks ago for using steroids. It's like, how dumb can you be? You coming back, you're redeeming yourself, and then you go and smudge your name again by doing, I think it was the same shit he did last time, using drugs. Or no, yeah, he was using cocaine or something like that. But either way, you using drugs that are illegal to, well, maybe steroids is not illegal to use, but it's illegal to use when you go doing fighting, when you training. That shit is illegal. As you can see, that's why he got his belt. But I know Cormier is happy, or Cormier, because that boy was sad. That crying face he had, I think it beat Jordan's crying face. So, yeah, John Jones. And the next story that happened this week was Toys R Us was selling the SNES, the Super Nintendo Classic. And basically Nintendo just getting all these old nostalgic people money. Not mine, because I still have my Super Nintendo from the 90s. Yeah, I still have that, and it's still in working order, so I won't be buying one of those because mine works perfectly. And the next thing that happened this week was, I just happened to be able to be a part of it as well, was inmate by the name of Marcellus Williams got a stay of execution for a crime that he supposedly committed in 98. And it turns out that the new evidence that's been brought forth shows that he's innocent. So the governor, with the help of change.org, I signed a petition, and a few other people that I know signed a petition. But that petition helped him get a stay of execution, which is he won't get executed right now. It's just being delayed until a new trial or a new investigation is held, rather. And that's good. Hopefully he comes out on top and gets his life back and gets some money to help him get on his feet, because you taking a man's like 17 years away from that man. It's like, and for some shit that he didn't even do. Crazy. But that happens a lot in our criminal justice system, and we got to be aware of that, and we got to be active as much as we can. So I tried to make a little difference and sign a petition. So I felt good. And on to the next story is Mystico's dumbass, just like John Jones, going back to jail or getting shit taken away again for doing repeat shit. Mystico is allegedly supposed to have raped somebody again, when that's what he went to jail for last time. And it's like, dude, how dumb can you be? I know you got some nostalgic fans out there that's willing to give up the booty, willing to shake that ass. Watch yourself. And he didn't watch himself. He didn't fucking use the thing between his ears to make good decisions, because I don't think he been out but like 3 years or something like that from the last time. And it's like, bruh, get your life. So he made a dumbass mistake, and it's just no limit. There is no limit to what that man has to encounter, or rather what that man will encounter in prison. So yeah, that man fucked up. John Jones fucked up. It's just looking bad. So on to basically the highlight of the week. Everybody was talking about the solar eclipse, and I was excited for a second, but then I was let down because this total solar eclipse wasn't even a total solar eclipse in California. That shit was on the mid belt of the USA. So it was like the mid section, the mid states. It was like a little slanted from like Oregon down to I want to say Louisiana or some shit like that. But yeah, we didn't get that. But I did see the videos and it was awesome. I was looking forward to those 2 minutes of darkness, but didn't get it. All this historical talk. But either way, I guess I gotta wait another 100 years if I'm alive by then. And on to the next but sad news is the passing of Dick Gregory. And if you guys don't know who he is, he was a comedian, activist, and occasionally a conspiracy theory. And with his theories, a lot of them, you could get behind, and some of them you couldn't. And the reason why you probably couldn't get behind them is because they sound a little far-fetched. But even stuff that sounds far-fetched now, when you get information later that backs that up, which I've had happen to me a couple times in the past, like, I don't believe that. And then later on, like a year or two later, I find out some more information like, oh, that does add up to what that person said. So a lot of his stuff, it's one of those things that, especially with conspiracy theorists, like, it's before their time. Like, people, the public knowledge, it doesn't become public knowledge until years later after the conspiracy theorist has gotten it going. But I mean, I'm not a big conspiracy theorist. I do find it entertaining, but the biggest thing I take away from conspiracy theorists is that it gets you to think outside the box. It makes you look at things as a whole, as rather in parts. You don't compartmentalize the information and say, okay, I'm just going to look at this piece of information and ignore the rest. It says, hey, look at all this information and you determine what you think out of that. And that's what I take away from that. So that brings me all the way to my highlight of the week, which is The Defenders. I was so excited to watch this show, and I gotta tell you, I was kind of let down. I was kind of let down. I mean, if you guys are one of those people that follow the Marvel's movies like I do, and in fact, any superhero movie, whether it be Marvel, DC, or Image Comics, that's Spawn, or Variant is another one that they got a couple comic books movies coming out. But the Marvel series has been good up to now, with the exception of Iron Fist. I did not enjoy that. With a lot of these Marvel shows, they tend to run a little long and don't get to the point, and then it's like, okay, the build up was hella slow and the payoff was not even worth it, and they've had a major problem with that in Iron Fist, as well as the editing of those fucking fight scenes. But this time in Defenders, they did a decent job in editing those fight scenes. It looked a little more fluid, you can follow the action more than you could in the past Iron Fist. And the thing I'm probably liked about it, the Defenders, the most, is that they all got to come together. We got to see them interact, and a couple of the episodes, the interactions were funny, especially with Jessica Jones and a couple of her bits. It was good. It was well acted. Just the story, though, the story arc was not a good look. It's like they tried to incorporate the hand and make this big old thing out of the hand, make it bigger than it was, and to me, it didn't hit the mark. They did not hit the mark with the little secret society, the hand, and the person, the villain, Sigourney Weaver played. It was a waste. It was a big waste. And the setup was like, oh yeah, like she was supposed to be this big baddie, and then when you watch the episode, you'd be like, really, That's how we doing it, Marvel. So, yeah, that was a big letdown, and it was especially a letdown for the final episode where I'm expecting this big old battle and nothing. I get the same fight scenes I got through each and every series. Nothing wrong with them, but I'm expecting for like a big spectacle. Like a season finale. That's what it is. It's a season. The last episode is the season finale. And like whether it be The Flash, Supergirl, or Legends of Tomorrow, whatever superhero show you watch, the big finale, you like, okay, I'm gonna get some real good action. I didn't get all the action I wanted in the previous episodes, but they're gonna make up. They are gonna make up for that in the season finale. That's what every fan hopes for. Is like, I'm gonna see the Flash running super fast, zigzagging here and beating this person up and saving this person, and that's what I thought in here. Like, I was gonna get Luke Cage holding buildings or lifting cars or something like that, and I got less in here of Luke Cage's strength wise than we did in Luke Cage. And I'm like, nah, when they come together, you got to have it go all out. That's something that you need to be able to do. I would say 2 or 3 less episodes so you can save that effects budget and make that shit happen. Because I want to see a big spectacle when all these team members come together. Like, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for people being thrown through walls, being punched outer space, punched 50 feet back for every punch or something like that, and didn't get any of that. I mean, you got a few here and there where he got knocked 2 feet into the wall or something like that, but you didn't get he got knocked across the screen, got up, started running or whatever. And then we got the same old Luke Cage standing, getting shot. And I mean, this is one scene. It's like, dude, Iron Fist should have been dead. He should have been fucking dead. But anyway, I digress. Overall, I'd say it's like, so my list right now, it would be Daredevil number 1, Daredevil season 2 number 2. I would put Luke Cage at number 3. I would put Jessica Jones at number 4, The Defenders at number 5, and then Iron Fist at 6, because that show just let me down. It wasn't bad, but it was the worst of the bunch. And with that, I leave you to enjoy your weekend. Do what you got to do. Have fun. Be safe. And I'll see you guys on the next one. I'm out.